And it's Lisa Brown with InkandInspirations.com. Welcome to week 1 of my 12 weeks of Halloween for 2018. And we're going to make this cute little tiny treat bag today. It's simple with just a punch and a stamp, and I'd love to show you how to make it. It's just the right size for like 2 boxes of Nerds, you know, if you want to judge the size. So anyway, let's get started. I'm using the Labels to Love stamp set and the coordinating everyday label punch that is found in the annual catalog from Stampin' Up. And it has several sentiments and sayings for different occasions and holidays. And here's this one for Halloween that we're using today. So let's get started. You're going to need a piece of designer paper. This is a Blackberry Bliss print from the Nature's Poem Designer Series paper collection that's in the annual catalog, 4x6, a scrap piece of Whisper White cardstock, just big enough to stamp and punch. Here is a piece of the basic black cardstock cut at 1x6, and we're going to be using a Texture Impressions folder on that. And then we'll need a piece of the black mini sequin trim, I believe is what it's called. Okay, so let's get started. First of all, I'm going to pull the Big Shot in, and this isn't a have-to for this project. You could do it without this texture, but I love this Subtles Textured Impression Embossing folder. I think it's Subtle, maybe, no S on the end. And I'm just going to line that 6-inch strip in there and run it through the Big Shot. I have just the cutting platform, 1 plate, and with this dynamic Textured Impressions embossing folder, you don't need a top plate. So let's run that through. And you can see that subtle texture. It's just so pretty. Again, you don't have to do that. It's just a fun addition to your project. Okay, let's set that aside and let's go ahead and do some scoring on our designer paper. I'm going to get my Simply Scored scoring tool, and I'm going to put the 6-inch side up at the top and get my stylus, and we are going to score the 6-inch side up here at 2 inches, 2 3/4, 4 3/4, and 5 1/2. And then we're going to turn it and put the 4-inch at the top. And now if your paper has a pattern that has directionality, like there's a definite top and bottom, you're going to say this is your top. Okay, so if you had like little pumpkins or cats, you would want them facing up there. And so here I'm going to score this bottom. That's going to be the bag bottom at 3/4 inch. Okay, we can move this out of the way. And let's fold on all these scoring lines. I love using this deep purple, this blackberry, for Halloween. I love like purples and oranges and blacks and grays, yellows, you name it. Fun Halloween colors. And again, if you don't create for Halloween, you can use this idea for any occasion. Okay, so be sure you watch all of these so that you can see how you can use them for whatever you need. Party favors, little gifts. It would hold like a little pair of earrings. Okay, so what I did here is I cut off that tiny rectangle that was formed by that last score line, that narrow score. And then I cut up on all the other score lines to make the tabs to put the bag together. So now I'm going to take this narrow tab here and put some snail adhesive all the way down. Then I can just take this and match this other side, fold it flat, and give it a good rub. Okay, so there's our seam. So that's the back of the bag. So we're going to fold the 2 sides in first, then the back, and then this will be the front, and it'll just have a fold instead of a seam there. And there it is together. Let me show you how these fit. I'm not going to leave them in there because I don't like to leave the candy on display in my studio. Okay, like that. So let me take those out. Or anything comparable, you know, you can put in there. Okay, so to close this after I put my candy in, I'm going to use a mini glue dot. Now, in the past, when I've done little bags, a lot of times I will staple it, but I got to thinking, especially with my young granddaughters that I have now, I don't want them to stick themselves with a staple, so I'm going to use a mini glue dot. Easy adhesive closure. Love them. Okay, so let's say that's good to go now. And so let's get our other pieces ready. This is that textured piece that was 6 inches by 1. And if you're watching this on YouTube, you can go to my blog and find this post with Halloween week 1 and get the dimensions and everything. That'll be listed there. Okay. All right. I just bannered those ends. I just cut it up. You see, I did that, and I did both at the same time just to save time. And then that's going to go over top like that. And again, I'm going to use mini glue dots. Pull that off. That texture made it not want to stick like that. So let me do it this way. All right. So here again, nothing stapled, nothing glued. It'd be easy to open. And that's going to go like that. So we're just building up. And now here's the 6-inch piece of the mini sequin trim. And I'm just going to fold it in half and take another glue dot and put it right there. And I want it to extend above the banner, the top of the bag here, just a tad. So that's how I'm judging it, okay? And you have your little tails hanging. And now let's go ahead and do our stamping. Here's our white. Here's our stamp that's mounted on a clear block. And I'm going to use some Memento Black ink and give this a good inking up. And I'm just doing simple one-color stamping. I try to think of these projects, not all of them. Some of them will be more detailed, but most of them hopefully will be something that if you had to do 30 of them, you could do it rather quickly. Okay? All right, here's this punch, the everyday label that fits this just perfectly. Punch. And then I have these faceted dots. These are also in the annual catalog, and it has these Blackberry Bliss gems. It's a tongue twister, and I'm just going to put one right here on each side to bring in the Blackberry Bliss to our little stamped image. Okay, and then that's going to go right over top. So I'm going to put glue dots again just right behind where I know that will stick to the front of the bag, even though it will extend just a bit, just like that. Okay, there's our first project for the 12 weeks of Halloween. I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, let me know. Visit my website to get the details, the dimensions, and everything so that you can recreate this. And I will see you again soon. Thanks for joining me. Take care. Bye-bye.